What if I told you that most of the stress, anxiety, and restlessness we experience in life isn't caused by what's happening to us, but by our refusal to live in the present moment? That's the radical message at the heart of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, a book that has transformed the way millions of people think about consciousness, suffering, and peace. It's not a book of religion or rules. It's an invitation to wake up. From the first few pages, Tolle's message is clear. The present moment is all we ever truly have. Everything else, our regrets about the past, our worries about the future, is an illusion created by the mind. And until we learn to free ourselves from that illusion, we'll never experience real peace. Tolle introduces the idea of the pain body, a term he uses to describe the accumulation of emotional pain that we carry within us. This pain feeds on negative thoughts and drama and becomes part of our identity if we're not careful. Imagine an old emotional wound, maybe from childhood or a failed relationship, that still flares up when you feel rejected. That's the pain body being triggered. Tolle explains that most of us unconsciously identify with our pain body, believing its voice is our own. The key, he says, is to become aware of it. By observing our emotional reactions without judgment and without feeding them with thought, we begin to dissolve the pain body and regain control of our inner state. Central to Tolle's teaching is the idea that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness behind the thoughts. This concept might sound abstract, but it's deeply empowering. Think about how often you catch yourself in a mental loop, rehashing an argument, replaying a mistake, or imagining worst-case scenarios. According to Tolle, this is the ego in action, a false sense of self built entirely from thought. The ego thrives on past and future, but it cannot exist in the present. By learning to step back and witness our thoughts, rather than becoming entangled in them, we create space. In that space, we discover our true nature, not as a bundle of mental narratives, but as the still, peaceful awareness that notices those narratives. Tolle encourages us to experience the now, not just intellectually, but physically and emotionally. He invites us to tune into our senses. Feel the weight of your body. Listen to the sound of your breath. Look around without naming what you see. These simple actions draw attention away from compulsive thinking and anchor us in the present. For example, if you're washing dishes or walking through the park, try doing it with full attention. Notice the feel of the water, the colors of the trees, the rhythm of your steps. That's presence. And in presence, even the most mundane activities become deeply fulfilling, because you're no longer distracted by the mental noise of what's next or what went wrong. Another powerful insight from the book is that problems only exist in the mind. That may sound unbelievable at first, especially if you're dealing with real-world challenges like financial stress, relationship struggles, or health issues. But what Tolle means is that problems are created when we mentally project ourselves into a future we can't control, or replay a past we can't change. In the now, challenges may still be present, but they're just situations, not problems. You deal with them one step at a time without adding layers of mental resistance or emotional suffering. It's the difference between saying, "This is happening," and "This shouldn't be happening to me." That shift in attitude makes all the difference. Tolle also explores the idea of surrender, not as passive resignation, but as active acceptance of the present moment. When we resist what is, we create inner conflict. We argue with reality, and reality always wins. But when we accept the now as it is, even if it's uncomfortable, we tap into a deeper intelligence. For instance, imagine being stuck in traffic. You can either stew in frustration, complaining in your mind about how unfair or inconvenient it is, or you can take a breath, notice your surroundings, and let go of resistance. You're still in traffic either way, but your inner state has changed dramatically. That's the power of surrender. It puts you back in alignment with life. Relationships also take on new depth when viewed through the lens of presence. Tolle explains that many of our conflicts with others arise not from the present moment, but from unconscious patterns and emotional baggage. When two people are both identified with their egos and pain bodies, conflict is inevitable. But when one person becomes present, fully attentive, without judgment, it disrupts the cycle. You're no longer reacting. You're responding. You're listening not to argue, but to understand. In this way, presence becomes a form of love. It's not about changing the other person. It's about showing up with awareness and compassion. One of the most practical teachings in the book is what Tolle calls the inner body awareness. This is the practice of feeling the aliveness inside your body, the tingling in your hands, the rhythm of your breath, the pulse of life itself. It sounds simple, but it's a direct doorway into the now. When you're focused on your inner body, your attention is no longer caught up in thought. This is especially helpful during times of anxiety or emotional turmoil. Instead of spinning in mental stories, you bring your awareness into the body and stay with the sensation. Over time, this reduces the mind's grip on you and deepens your connection to the present. Tolle's language throughout the book is calm, clear, and often poetic, but it's never preachy. He doesn't try to convince you through argument. He invites you to notice, to observe your own experience. That's what makes the book feel so intimate and profound. It's like talking to a wise friend who isn't trying to fix you, but simply guiding you back to what you already know deep down. That peace doesn't come from getting more or achieving more. It comes from realizing that right here, in this moment, nothing is missing. Even when he touches on spiritual concepts, like enlightenment or the nature of consciousness, Tolle keeps it grounded. He doesn't speak from a religious standpoint, but from direct experience. And he insists that awakening is not some mystical event reserved for monks or gurus. It's available to anyone, right now, regardless of their background or beliefs. All it takes is willingness. A willingness to let go of mental resistance and meet the present moment as it is. As you read The Power of Now, you begin to see the subtle ways your mind avoids the present. You notice how it clings to problems, how it defines you by your story, how it constantly seeks validation or control, and in seeing it, you begin to disidentify from it. You become more spacious, more grounded, more alive. The shift isn't always dramatic, but it's deeply liberating. It's like stepping out of a noisy room into a quiet field. You didn't know how loud it was until you left. In a world obsessed with doing, achieving, and fixing, The Power of Now offers a radical alternative. Just be. Be here. Be aware. And watch how life begins to unfold. Not as something you must conquer, but as something you can finally experience. Whether you're seeking peace, clarity, or simply a break from the relentless chatter of your mind, this book is a powerful companion. It doesn't just tell you about presence, it gives you the tools to live it. And once you've tasted that stillness, you'll realize there's nothing more worth your time.